President, I ask unanimous consent that the quorum call in progress be vitiated.
Well, is there objection? Without objection.
Mr. President, I'm fully aware that we're not going to be able to get past a unanimous consent request, but I wanted to make sure that the chair knew and others know that we do have an amendment that I have the best intentions of bringing out. In fact, it's an amendment that already has about 60 co-sponsors. I'll have the exact number here in a minute. No, 21 co-sponsors. There is a provision in the Senate bill that was put in the Senate. It's not in the House bill, and that has to do with commissaries. It's viewed upon as privatizing commissaries. It's not really that. All it is an attempt to evaluate the idea of the commissaries being privatized by using 5 commissaries as test cells to see what kind of result we would get if we did privatize those. Now, what we're doing with my amendment is taking it back to taking that language out and allowing us to go ahead and do the assessment before we do that. It wouldn't make sense to me that if we wanted to get this done, even if we felt very passionate about privatizing, that we would do it before we had an assessment. So this would move, so the assessment would be in there first. Now, we had a lot of discussion about this in the Senate Armed Services Committee. As I said, we have now 21 co-sponsors that would like to reverse this so that we can do the assessment, then make the determination. It's kind of interesting, even though most people say that privatizing is not going to actually save any money or make any money, the amendment simply requires an assessment on privatizing before we make any significant changes to our service members' privatized commissary benefits. And this is something that is a very popular thing among members of our service and wives and husbands. When surveyed last year, 95% of the service members were using the commissaries to purchase household goods to achieve needed savings in their family budgets with 91% satisfaction rate. We don't get 91% satisfaction rates around here very often, but the language in this bill, as it is now, ignores the recommendations made by the Military Compensation Retirement Modernization Commission, that we're all very familiar with, and in the report released in January, which specifically stated in recommendation number 8 to protect access and savings to DoD commissaries and exchanges. Well, that's exactly what we want to do. I have a list, a very impressive list, which I will not read. These are some 41 associations, including labor unions and the Gold Star Widows and the American Veterans and all of these others. And I ask that this be made a part of the record at this point in the record.
Without objection.
And I also have an analysis of letters of support that is for 6 different organizations. They are the Military Officers Association of America, Armed Services Marketing Council, International Brotherhood of Teamsters, American Federation of Government Employees, AFL-CIO, American Military Retirees Association, and SaveOurBenefits.org. So I ask unanimous consent that these analyses of these 6 letters representing these organizations be made a part of the record.
Without objection.
It's my intention, Mr. President, as soon as we get to the point where we can get in the queue and get and be able to get by a unanimous consent request to set current business aside, it'll be my intention to do that, to consider this bill. And with that, I'll yield the floor and suggest